What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of AHJ Productions. Today we're going to be analyzing the Chicago Bears. It's going to be a pretty interesting video, but first I'm going to start off. I know what a lot of y'all are thinking right now. Yes, you are finally getting to see my face. You're getting to meet me in person. A lot of y'all that have watched Good Evening Football, have just started watching the channel, you're probably thinking right now is, man, this is the guy with all the crazy takes. I am Hunter. I'm the one that talks way too much. I'm the one with all the crazy takes and the fanatic of Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. You're finally getting to meet me face to face. You can see right now, repping the Bel Air Academy, Will Smith, shout out Fresh Prince. But none of that matters right now. Y'all are going to get to see my face. You'll get to meet Aiden and Jonah soon enough. Shout out to Aiden. He's the one that made the podcast. And we have a new logo that Jonah was able to come up with this week. So it's a lot really exciting. Like I said, we're going to be analyzing the Chicago Bears today. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Paradise. Alright guys, so just to fill y'all in, our latest project on the channel, we're going to be analyzing each NFL, NBA, and MLB team specifically. We've each been assigned specific teams, so each of us is going to be making videos. Jonah just dropped, as I'm recording this, he just dropped a video on the Washington football team, the meme of the NFL right now. But I would highly recommend going and checking it out. So without further ado, let's get started with this video. Alright guys, so now that we've gotten all the boring stuff out of the way and you've seen my ugly face and I've shouted out Jonah, let's get into this video. I'm going to be analyzing the Chicago Bears today. Now, the Bears are a very interesting team because just a year ago, this was one of the best teams in the NFC. But now, this year they missed the playoffs and it's not looking like things are going to turn around anytime soon for the Bears. They took Mitchell Trubisky second overall, which was a great pick. I can't imagine who they would take instead of Mitchell Trubisky. Anyway, aside from that, the Bears are an interesting team because this is a team that has all the potential in the world but just can't seem to put it together, especially on the offensive end. Now, for me, I've broken this down into 3 players that are going to be the quote-unquote X factors for the Bears this year. So here's what to expect. I'm going to start with Mitchell Trubisky. Taken second overall back in 2017, this was a huge surprise when people found out that he was taken by the Bears here. We had only seen 10 college football games of him at North Carolina, and I gotta be honest, I didn't really see the talent there. I didn't see the production that would warrant him being the second overall pick. Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson were going to be 1 and 2 in most people's draft boards, and they probably still should be. But for some reason, the Bears traded up and took Trubisky second overall. And we see how that turned out for them. Trubisky gets a lot of hate, which really isn't necessary because when you look at his stats this year, he played in 15 games, went 8-7 as a starter, threw 38 yards, 17 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and had a 63.2 completion percentage. Those stats aren't bad. Now, Pro Football Focus also gives us that he had 6 game-winning drives. Now, when you listen to these stats, it sounds pretty good. It sounds like Trubisky was a great quarterback. But the truth is that that's just not even close to the truth. Trubisky's accuracy is concerning. He is one of the rare quarterbacks that is mobile and really doesn't know how to throw the ball at all. He is a running back playing quarterback. Now, there's been a lot of throws where you could argue it was the receiver's fault, but most of the throws Trubisky made, and I'm going to reference here the Dallas Cowboys game, it's just absurd to watch. Trubisky's accuracy is some of the worst in the league, and it's just killing the Bears offensively. Now, the Bears did bring in Nick Foles this offseason, so hopefully the Bears have said as of now that they're going to start Trubisky. Whether that actually holds water, I have no clue. I would expect to see Trubisky start week 1 and then Nick Foles come in like he always does and just dominate and earn the spot. But for right now, Trubisky is where it's at. And I would say that more than likely Trubisky is not going to make it through the whole year. His stats look decent on paper, but when you watch this man play, it's just not good. The Bears need a quarterback. That offense has potential. It's got decent weapons, but it's concerning when you look at the quarterback position. They need another quarterback. Now, the next 2 players I'm going to analyze are both on defense. Now, this was the Bears' strong suit a year ago. The Bears were unbelievable on defense. It's one of the scariest defenses we've ever seen. And even with Mitchell Trubisky as a starter, they could have done something with this defense, and they did. First, I'm going to reference Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is an absolute stud. Now, this year, his stats, 8.5 sacks, 47 tackles in 16 games played. That's a bad year for Khalil Mack. It's been a downtrend because if you reference the year before, Khalil Mack had 12.5 sacks. This is also a guy that at one point in his career, his second season in the NFL, had 15 sacks. So Mack's just not producing the same way, and it's really troubling to see why, because the talent is there. This is one of the top defenders in the league. He is a top linebacker. He can play linebacker. He can play defensive end. He's an absolute monster. He dominates in the pass rush. I've never seen anything like this. But for some reason, Mack dipped this year, along with pretty much all of the Bears. Now, it could have been, no one really knows what went wrong, but whatever went wrong for the Bears, it was an absolute disaster. The Bears just weren't able to produce like they were the year before, and it's kind of concerning. If Khalil Mack can get back to that 15-sack player that we saw in his second season in the NFL in 2015, this Bears defense is something to watch because that pass rush is just, you put Khalil Mack in there and everything is going to change. He's an absolute monster. He gets sacks. He gets tackles for losses. He's an absolute stud. Now, the last player I'm going to mention here is probably one of my favorite in the league, and it's Eddie Jackson, the free safety out of Alabama. He was taken in the 6th round, which no one really knew how this guy was. But at Alabama, he produced pretty much the exact same way he has in the NFL. Now, this year, he had 60 tackles and 2 interceptions. Not great. Decent, but not great by any means. Now, to really see what his potential is, you have to go back to 2018. Like I said, a year ago when the Bears defense was at its peak. Jackson had 6 interceptions and 2 touchdowns, along with 51 tackles. That's absurd for a 6th-round draft pick. This man can absolutely ball. The Bears have the talent on defense, especially in the secondary. The secondary has the potential to be something really, really special. Eddie Jackson is one of those guys that is an X-factor player. He is going to make big plays in big moments on the defensive end. I vividly remember watching this guy a year ago. Some of the interceptions he made, they're absurd to watch because they're just unfathomably, what word do I even put there? It's just unbelievable to watch. He's absurdly good, and he deserves to be paid as one of the top safeties in the league. He is just unbelievable. So, having said that, what do I expect from the Bears this upcoming season? I don't expect anything more than 6-10, possibly 7-9, and here's why. The offense is stagnant. Mitchell Trubisky's going to start, and even if Nick Foles comes in, let's be honest, we love Nick Foles for what he did against the Patriots, but Nick Foles is not a starting quarterback in this league by any means. Nick Foles is exactly what he looks like. He is a backup that is meant to come in big moments and perform clutchly. He is not a guy that's going to go out there and start every single game like some of the top names, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Sorry, Jonah. He's just not one of those guys. So, I expect the defense to produce well. Expect for Khalil Mack to have anywhere between 10 and 15 sacks. I think he's going to have a big bounce-back year. And I expect Eddie Jackson to have a good year. Maybe 4 or 5 interceptions and a touchdown or 2. But the Bears are choking, and they need something. Whether that be a draft pick that they get next year or a big free agency signing, the Bears have potential. We saw that a year ago. But this year showed they just can't produce. There are a lot of holes on this team. And for the Bears to be successful, they're going to need to patch those holes. They need a wide receiver. They don't have many good receivers, except for Anthony Miller. The guy is a baller. They don't have a tight end right now. That's a star-studded tight end. And the running back game is par to subpar. What I would expect overall from the team, like I said, 6-10, 7-9. Don't expect anything more. If you're a Bears fan, I'm sorry, but when you look at this team, it's just not good. The team is just not good. And I'm sorry to say that, but the Bears aren't going anywhere for at least a few years, and that's my honest opinion. Now remember, I am Mr. Hottakes. I don't always say the brightest NFL opinions, but this, when you look at everything, I think my 2 colleagues would definitely agree with me. The Chicago Bears are just not where it's at right now. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this video. It's going to be a short one. Please let us know what you think of this video. Just let us know in the comment section or on Instagram. Follow us at AHJ Productions on Instagram. You'll stay up to date with the channel, and also follow your boy. I'll leave my Instagram somewhere in the video. Drop a follow. Stay up to date with me personally and with the channel. And just let us know what you think. We appreciate you guys. Probably we had 50 views on our last video. Let's try to get that to 100. If we can get 100 views, I'll be happy. I'll be dropping the next video within the next few days. I'm sure Aiden's working on something too. I'll get with them later today. We'll figure something out. But for now, just hope you guys enjoy the content. Let us know what you think. Please sub, tell your friends. Let's get this channel huge. Let's go. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Couldn't come this far, man, just by grinding. If I said I did it myself, then I'd just be lying.